世界の彼方、イングランドのリバプールにて、二人の男が意見の酒場にいた。その名は、座右するパウンドストーンと赤ん坊である。欺きと謀略によって二人は霧に包まれた危険な地、バロービアへと誘い込まれた。そこは古き吸血鬼の領主、ストラド・ヴォン・サロヴィッチが支配する土地である。旅の途中、彼らは道中にて多くの敵と遭遇したが、当時に友々であった。その一人は、海賊王ウンバペ。そしてもう一人は若き女将、トゴである。一行は、この地にストラド絡みを隠している若き女性がいることを知った。その名はイリーナ。ストラドはこの女こそがかつての花嫁の生まれ変わりであると信じ、必死にその行方を追っていった。一行はミステリーギャングと呼ばれる別の冒険者の一団と共にバロービアの怪しき地を探索した。しかし運命は彼らがストラードとの最初のそご生き延びることを許さなかった。ただ一人を除いて。一行はヴラキと呼ばれる町に身を寄せた。そこでは多くの勢力が町の支配権をめぐって争っていた。彼らはガラスへと姿を変えることのできる人間の一族、モルティコフがに手を貸した。以降はダークベルマーと名乗る闇に包まれた巨大な女と出会った。彼女は時折姿を現し、一向に導きを当て、彼らのうちにあら痛みを静かに洗った。ある晩、一行はストラードの晩餐へと招かれた。食事の席にて、彼は自らの花嫁、イリナを探す手助けを求めた。彼らは拒む術のない圧を感じながらも、抗わねばならぬことを悟っていた。ストラードは一行がその願いを果たさぬことを悟っていった。故に彼は影より彼らを見張り続けた。そして最も油断したその時、彼はそのすべての力を持ってヴォラッキの町を襲い、イリナを奪い去った。一行はレーヴェンロフト城へと正面から挑むにはまだ力が足りなかった。しかし彼はストラードを撃つための力がガキス山の頂にあるアンバーテンプルと呼ばれる地に眠っていることを知る。その力を求め彼らは山へと歩みを進めた。山を登る途中、一行はストラードの配下、シスジ・ラハディン、トハを交えた。戦いは苛烈を極めたが、ついにラハディンは撃ち倒された。だが勝利の代償として、若き女将ドゴはロック鳥にさらわれてしまう。一行はロック鳥からドゴを救い出すことの成功した。 しかしその間取りはあまりにも巨大であった。絶望の一瞬、ジャユズルはロック鳥を地獄へと追放し、一個を救った。その代償として、彼自身の命を失いながら、アンバーテンプルにて、ダークベルマは一個ないジャユズルをダークジャユズルとして蘇らせるための母徳の力を授けた。彼らはこの神殿においてストラードを打つための力を得たが、その力の贈り物には常に危険な代償が伴っていた。ダークベルマは一行がストラードに挑む準備が整ったことを告げ、戦いの助力をとして彼女の相棒である猿モンケを託した。隠して一行はレイヴェンロフト城へとのぐとく飛び立った。一行はストラードとその呪われし花嫁たちに勇敢にも立ち向かった。彼は恐るべき力を誇っていたが、一行は力を合わせ、ついに勝利をつかみ、イリナを解き放った。ストラードが撃たれしとき、その肉体は軸の裂け目へと引きずり込まれた。イリナもまた、その中へと引き込まれる。ダークベルマは告げた。誠に彼滅ぼすためには、その門の向こうへ追わねばならぬ。隠して一行は、その裂け目へと身を閉じた。時と空間を超えて彼らは一生し、ついにこの地、日本へとたどり着いたのである。
Following their rapid descent to the ground from the portal which rendered them all unconscious, the party awoke in a strange room in separate beds. Except for Otto and Doggo, they had clearly been snuggling. As the party stirred and took stock of their surroundings, a man entered the room and greeted the party, introducing himself as Tetsuo. He informed the party that he had found them naked and unconscious just outside his village and had taken them in. Come to think of it, related to the nakedness and sudden appearance, Tetsuo wondered where the party was from, as they didn't look like most people here. The party, despite having only a sample size of 1 with respect to what people here looked like, deduced that they were not in Barovia anymore. Asking where exactly they were, Tetsuo replied,
"We are just outside the city of Edo, in the great nation of Japan."
Mbappe and Otto had never heard of this strange place, but Giles, as a good Victorian Englishman, immediately pulled out his notebook, excited to learn more about, as he put it, the Orient. Tetsuo explained to the party that in this region there was a man called the daimyo who oversaw the lands of the region, but that the daimyo was a cruel and unjust man. He controlled the samurai, and due to this, one must be careful when wandering about. Inquiring about their belongings, Tetsuo informed them that someone had stolen them and run off before he managed to find the party. The party decided that that would be their first course of action, so they thanked Tetsuo for his help and asked if they could repay him for his kindness of taking them in and keeping them safe. And since they mentioned it, he did actually have one thing in mind. Tetsuo referred the party to his son, another local man, and the one who had first noticed the portal open up. His name was Kazuhiro, and he had a problem that Tetsuo figured may just be in line with the party's own problem. The party met Kazuhiro, who explained to them that their belongings had likely been stolen by the same bandits, samurai, and thugs who had stolen his grain. The party asked if he could be more specific of which of the three it was. Rather than engage with that question, he simply asked the party if they could get his grain while, at their discretion, stealing anything else from the bandits that they desired. Since the party was currently without equipment, Kazuhiro arranged with Tetsuo to give the party some weapons for their task. Mbappe was given a yari, Otto took a sleeve of shurikens, and Giles took the nunchucks. And with that, the party departed off toward the bandit encampment with Kazuhiro guiding them. Along the way, Mbappe asked Kazuhiro if anyone else had seen the party or recognized them. Kazuhiro said he was unsure if anyone had seen them, but to be honest, the party kind of stuck out since they didn't look Japanese. Before long, the party came across a bridge with guards on the other end. Seeing no way around them, Mbappe approached them, saying surely they had heard the rumors. The party was gods and had been robbed by sinners. The guards, barely registering the party, asked what rumors he was talking about. Mbappe continued on, introducing himself as Mbappe, Lord of the Waters. He was traveling with Otto, Lord of the Forest, and Giles, Lord of the Wind. The guards asked if he could just tell them what he wanted. Mbappe began describing the Sun Sword, but they said they hadn't seen it. They were just making camp, and only got here a couple hours back. When asking instead about Kazuhiro's grain, the guards mentioned that they did see someone along the pathways carrying some grain. Mbappe thanked them and invited the guards to watch the party destroy their enemies. The guards politely declined and returned to their previous conversation about meat and supporting one of their fellow guards who had just come out of the closet. Kazuhiro informed the party that he would be returning to town and wished the party good luck. As they continued along the direction of the encampment, they were suddenly captured and taken prisoner by a mysterious entity. Finding themselves imprisoned in a locked room, a samurai entered and asked who the party were and why they were there. Mbappe insisted that they were gods from the sky and said that they were looking for a blade that holds the sun. Upon hearing that, the samurai suddenly looked taken aback. He called over some friends who came in and began attacking the party. Having only their starting weapons, the party was having some extreme difficulty in the fight until they recalled that they were level 10 and had some pretty powerful spells at their disposal. Although, in typical fashion, Giles kind of fucked up his turn and got knocked out. Managing to dispatch the samurai, the party escaped from their room and began to search the encampment looking for their equipment. But to their horror, they only discovered level-appropriate gear. In one small victory, they did manage to find Kazuhiro's missing grain. At that moment, Dark Velma spoke to the party. She said to them,
"Your items will come to you with time. In the meantime, you must make sense of this world and take care to not forget your mission."
Getting the message that Dark Velma gave them, the now adequately equipped party returned with Kazuhiro's grain back toward the village. Along the way, they showed off their new weapons to the guards near the bridge, who were generally unenthused, and then they returned to the village and presented Kazuhiro with his stolen grain. Now that the party had cool new weapons, they decided to give back what they assumed were their loaners to Tetsuo. Tetsuo was a little surprised, although he accepted the weapons back, if only out of politeness. The party informed him that they had some sweet new katanas now, so it would be alright.
Those are actually kind of shitty.
What do you mean? They were folded 1,000 times.
Oh no, like these are some small ninja katanas.
At that point, Tetsuo asked whether the party would be so kind as to help him with another small issue that he had. And as he did, he produced a small kitten. Tetsuo introduced it as Algernon, saying it was the only thing keeping him going, but it had fallen ill, and he could not send anyone to get the medicine it needed. He could barely finish the sentence before the party agreed to take it. What was that? Anyway, as I was saying, before the party agreed to take on his quest. Tetsuo thanked them for their help, and suggested they begin looking in the Spirit Grove. Fortunately, thanks to Giles' ability to read, which apparently gave him the ability to read Japanese, the party found the Spirit Grove. Upon entering the grove, the party found a statue, and as they approached, they were met by a booming voice emanating from it.
Welcome, travelers, to my forest. I am Ninigi, the spirit guardian of this forest. Who is it that comes before me today?
Mbappe said that they were gods from another land. He was Mbappe, god of the sea. Ninigi said he was quite intrigued to meet fellow gods. The party was grateful that he believed them, because introducing Otto as the god of the forest would surely have undone their lie. Ninigi inquired as to what brought the party to his sacred grove. Mbappe explained that they were on a very important mission, to find a flower for a cat. Otto also added that they were looking for a vampire. Ninigi told the party that he had information, but given that the party were gods, he was surprised that they didn't have the same information as him. With some quick thinking, Giles said that they only knew about the lands that they presided over. Ninigi paused, considered this for a moment, and then said,
Okay, that scans.
Comfortable enough to lie to Ninigi about Otto being the god of the forest, Ninigi got sidetracked with Otto talking shop about the various animals and plants residing in their respective domains. Getting Ninigi back on track, Otto inquired about allowing the party to take a tiger lily for Algernon. Ninigi said he'd be happy to, but asked the party if they could help him first with the small matter of a lumberjack harming his domain. He requested that the party go kill him and return to Ninigi his axe. Nervous about subletting quests, so to speak, especially when one was time-sensitive, the party had little choice but to accept Ninigi's quest.
You know, a better quest title might be, Would You Help Me?
Hey, that's great, buddy. Why don't you go be the DM now?
Proceeding to the grove ahead, the party saw a deer. For some reason, worried about previous encounters with four-legged animals, the party took forever to decide how to proceed. Mercifully, before long, an arrow whizzed out of the forest past them and struck the deer, killing it. As the party looked around for the person who shot the arrow, a voice called down to them from up in a tree, asking if the party could throw up the deer to her. She introduced herself as Aiko. Excited to finally meet another ranger, Otto began mansplaining, asking if she would like bow lessons. He whipped out his longbow and fired off a shot right past her for some unknown intended effect. Unimpressed, Aiko took out another arrow and fired it back, intending to go just past Otto, except about halfway it hit the corpse of the deer, which Mbappe had dutifully gone to toss up to her. Aiko agreed to help the party by informing them that the lumberjack was nearby and how to get to him. In return, the party promised not to steal the deer carcass, which she appreciated despite not knowing that the party had no interest in it from the get-go. As she descended the tree to come down and skin the carcass, Mbappe and Giles noticed the sexual tension growing between the two rangers. Otto asked where Aiko lived, in case he needed to see her later. She told him that her camp was just west of their present location, and then looked at the party expectantly, waiting for them to leave, until they got the hint. Arriving at a house, Giles snuck in the back door before Otto could pass without trace. Going in the front door, Otto and Mbappe found the woodcutter right away and began to confront him.
Who are you?
We're the reckoning from the forest god, and we've come for revenge.
Oh no, but I promise I do good things with the lumber from the trees.
But did you plant as many trees as you cut down?
No.
That is where you fucked up.
The woodcutter dropped to his knees, begging for the party's understanding, saying that he would plant trees to pay back the bounty. As the woodcutter continued groveling and sobbing, the party considered sending Otto to check with Ninigi because they were growing less and less cool with this whole situation as the time went on. But ultimately, the party said their hands were tied and they had to kill him. He was the only way that they could save a kitten. And so, Mbappe and Otto got to work. Meanwhile, having come in the back door, Giles discovered a young child minding her own business. It was the woodcutter's daughter. Thinking she might be a good bargaining chip in their confrontation with the woodcutter, Giles led her out into the main room to bring her to her The party tried to console the daughter, mentioning that she still had her mother. She corrected them, saying that her mother was gone, and the party briefly considered that this was really a case of just bad parenting. As the daughter swore revenge on the party, they quickly hightailed it back to Ninigi to get their reward. Arriving at Ninigi, they informed him of what they had done, murdering the man and bringing his axe. They also mentioned that they had left the child alone in the house, and Ninigi would probably want to take on some responsibility for that. Ninigi simply said that she must pay for the sins of her father. The party briefly wondered if that meant Ninigi wanted them to go back and kill her too. As Ninigi gave them potions of water breathing as a reward, the party asked what his judgment would have been if the guy had just agreed to replant all the trees he cut down.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I hadn't thought about that. Oh well, too late now.
With the quest complete, Ninigi gave the party access to the Spirit Grove. He also informed the party that he had detected a dark power that had cropped up recently and had begun changing the land. The power hadn't affected his domain yet, so he hadn't paid it much mind. But the presence of the party drew his attention, and as a result, he decided to send his woodland creatures to scout around for information. He bid the party farewell and hoped that they would visit again, for surely he would have more information to give and more murders to request. And with that, the party headed into the Spirit Grove. Entering the Spirit Grove, the party found a pond with a small island in the middle. On that island was a single stem, and on that stem a beautiful flower, the tiger lily. Unfortunately, given that this was an obvious trap, no one in the party wanted to go. But, after much debate, it was decided that Giles would go. And as soon as he stepped in the pond water, a watery hand reached up to grab him and began pulling him down. Just then, 2 trees began to uproot themselves and move towards the party. Fortunately, Giles knew that this was the perfect time to break out the hippie Oh, crap, that's right, he sold it for a god's beard. Ah, dang it. As the hands dragged him down into the pond, Giles quickly cast Destroy Water to buy himself a bit more time and air to breathe, as he looked to his friends to deal with everything else going on. With the rest of the party, it certainly wasn't a hippie axe, but Doggo sure had an effective tool to deal with the forest creatures. He cast
Fireball row!
At the trees as they began to approach. From behind, a succubus emerged from the water and began to tempt Otto. The succubus, through great effort, managed to charm Otto, enticing him over to her. Seeing his friend in danger, Mbappe misty-stepped behind her and ran her through with his katana, freeing Otto from her spell. As Otto adjusted his pants, Giles once again cast Destroy Water to remove as much water as he could to escape from a watery grave. And with that, he had blown 2 4th-level spells, but at least he had made it 10 feet to safety without drowning. Finally free of those that would imprison them, the 3 turned to help Doggo face off against the 2 awakened trees. As they readied their weapons, the only remaining tree crashed to the ground, a charred mess. Doggo turned back to the party, proud of his handiwork. Evidently, Fireball Row is a pretty good spell against plant-based enemies. Although they were safe for now, the debate resumed over who would go get the tiger lily. Otto decided to just take raven form and fly over. As he did that, Giles realized that the party had a person who could turn into a raven at will, and another guy who could misty step, and he suddenly didn't understand why it was decided that he would be the one to wade into the dangerous water. On their way out of the grove, the party asked Ninigi why those creatures were in his forest. Ninigi simply said that in his eyes, they're not evil. The party insisted that they were. Ninigi said he didn't think the party was in a position to judge what was good and evil, given that they had just murdered a defenseless woodcutter. Unsure how to come back to that, the party decided maybe it was best to take their leave. As they turned their backs and departed, they could almost feel as though Ninigi was dabbing at them. At the bridge leading to the small town where Tetsuo lived, the party encountered some new guards where the usual ones were nowhere to be seen. They stopped the party to question them, despite the party's demands that a life was on the line and they must be allowed to pass at once. Giving diplomacy a chance, Otto asked if they would take a bribe, which worked well, and the party was allowed to pass. Approaching the town as they crossed the bridge, the party could see something bad was happening, so they took cover quickly to survey the situation. Otto took the form of a raven to do some advanced scouting, ready to signal the party to attack if need be. Several samurai, armed to the teeth, were walking around the town, while a group surrounded Tetsuo and Kazuhiro, both of whom were restrained and on their knees.
General Yuki, to what do we owe the pleasure? Ah, Tetsuo, I suspect you know why I'm here. You see, my employers are not happy. I know you've seen those I'm looking for, and you have information about them. How about you make this easy? and to tell me what I want to know before things get violent. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, as Tetsuo has said, we know nothing, General Yuki. We are just simple farmers.
Sensing the imminent danger, Otto cawed to signal back to Mbappe and Giles that help was needed.
Well, then it seems we are going to have to do this the hard. Wait, what is that cawing? Anyway, what was I saying? Oh right, you disappoint me, old man.
And with that, she roundhouse kicked Tetsuo in the chest, sending him flying backwards. As Tetsuo reeled from the attack, Otto called to the party again to alert them. Somewhere in the distance, Giles and Mbappe quietly debated what all these calls meant. But before they could determine a course of action, they heard General Yuki once more.
Samurai, to me! Take Kazuhiro, leave the old man. We are rolling out. If anyone hears a third call, we are going to come back and wipe out this whole village.
And with that, General Yuki and her samurai departed the town over the bridge and out of sight. With the coast clear, the party rushed out of hiding and out of raven form to help Tetsuo. And by Tetsuo I mean his cat, Algernon. After ensuring Algernon was safe, the party picked up Tetsuo and brought him inside, asking about what they had just seen. As they tended to his injuries, Tetsuo explained.
That was a General Yuki, the head of the daimyo guard. She has a mini samurai under her control already. He is looking for you. My grandson, the Kento, brought me news that there is a new daimyo, an imposing man, not of these lands already.
That sounds like Strat to me. I wonder if Irina is here as well.
I do not know of these names you speak, but I do know that the daimyo has taken a great interest already in finding you. I do not think I can help you anymore, but I know who I can. In fact, you will find that these lands have many who will happily aid you in your fight. But first, you must go to the nearby city of Edo. Look for the inn and the bathhouse. There, you will find a woman known as a Kono Yufu. Tell her Tetsuo sent you. She will help you make disguises. And while you're there, please save Kazuhiro for me. Arigato.
With their next steps clear, the party decided to stay the night so that they could set out in the morning fresh and ready to find what mysteries lay in wait for them in this new town and this strange land.